Welcome back to another fascinating episode of 10 Worst Alcoholics in Hollywood History. Join me as we dive deeper into Hollywood's dark secrets, exposing the shocking lives of 10 more infamous alcoholics in Tinseltown. Number 10. Dennis Price. Dennis Price, a British actor blessed with good looks and charm, seemed destined for success. He became a matinee idol on stage and achieved great acclaim with the comedy gem Kind Hearts and Coronets in 1949, alongside his talented contemporaries Alec Guinness and James Mason. However, behind the scenes, Price's life took a dark turn as his drinking spiraled out of control. Amid the anguish of a failing marriage and the weight of his hidden homosexuality, Price found himself in a deeply troubled state in 1954. Desperate, he put on his finest suit and attempted suicide by placing his head in the oven of his apartment. Thankfully, a timely intervention by a cleaning woman prevented a tragic outcome, but Price embarked on a slower, more insidious form of self-destruction, one fueled by alcohol. Despite starring in popular British comedies and military dramas, Price's excessive drinking became a well-known fact among his co-stars. They attested to his habit of starting the day with a crate of Guinness, which he would diligently empty by day's end, accompanied by copious amounts of scotch. His associates reported he was drunk most of the time, yet he remained committed to his work. He would show up at the studio with alcohol discreetly stowed away in a shopping bag, a hidden companion throughout his tumultuous days. In one memorable incident, he even stumbled onto the stage during the first act of a play, attempting to perform the final act instead. As his life neared its end, Price's once suave persona and magnetic allure were eroded by his addiction to the bottle. His looks faded and his health suffered greatly. It comes as no surprise that he eventually succumbed to liver cirrhosis, the tragic consequence of a life consumed by alcohol. Well, my friend, I know how you feel. Life's complexities can lead us down unexpected paths. Number 9. Cary Grant. Cary Grant, the suave Hollywood legend, had his own battle with the bottle. In the 1950s, he decided to confront his alcoholism head-on and sought help. But guess what? His doctor prescribed him a rather unconventional treatment: LSD. Yep, you heard it right. Grant embarked on a series of mind-altering trips, courtesy of the psychedelic drug. There's a catch, though. He even roped in some of his pals, spreading the trippy gospel. Judy Balaban, daughter of the Paramount president, was among those influenced, declaring, quote, "If it was good enough for Cary Grant, it was good enough for me." Surprisingly, Grant claimed to have dropped acid a staggering 100 times during his treatment. Whoa! But here's the twist. It seemed to have worked wonders for him. LSD changed his perspective on life, and he went on to enjoy his days, spreading charm and smiles until he peacefully bid farewell at the ripe old age of 82. Talk about a wild ride and a happily ever after. Number 8. Joan Crawford. Ah, the fabulous Joan Crawford. Not only was she a powerhouse actress, but she also had a unique perk tied to her personal life. You see, Joan was married to the big-shot CEO of PepsiCo, and he had a brilliant idea. He thought, hey, why not make Joan the official ambassador for Pepsi? And voila! Just like that, she became the face of the fizzy drink. But here's the juicy part. Whenever Joan embarked on her global Pepsi tour, she had some very specific demands. But can I be completely honest with you? Joan Crawford's relationship with alcohol had its share of complexities, adding layers to her story. Alongside the customary case of Pepsi, she requested a boozy assortment that could put any cocktail party to shame. Her list included 2/5 of Smirnoff, 1/5 of Old Forester bourbon, 1/5 of Scotch, 1/5 of Beefeater gin, and 2 bottles of champagne. Yep, she sure knew how to throw a party. And hey, at least it was Pepsi and not the other cola that had to join the party. Number 7. Dean Martin. The king of cool himself, Dean Martin. This man had a way with words, especially when it came to his thoughts on drinking. He once said, "I feel sorry for people who don't drink." When they wake up in the morning, they're as good as they're going to feel all day. Talk about embracing the spirit, right? But here's the twist. Many have argued that Dean's onstage persona as a lovable drunk was all an act. Yep, his daughter and close friends have spilled the beans, claiming his glass was often filled with nothing more than innocent apple juice. It was the mere presence of that drink and a cigarette in his hand that made him the legend we all remember. He became the epitome of cool, a man whom men wanted to be and women wanted to be with. But here's the sweet part. Despite his image, Dean was a devoted father who always made it home for dinner, and he and his wife enjoyed just one cocktail together in the evenings. He knew when to hang up the party hat. So, while Dean Martin's career was undoubtedly intertwined with alcohol, he managed to waltz with the devil and gracefully bow out when the time was right. In 1995, at the age of 78, the curtains closed on Dean's remarkable journey. Number 6. Robert Shaw. Now let's dive into the turbulent waters of the blockbuster film Jaws and meet the notorious Robert Shaw. You see, the filming of this iconic movie wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. With big sharks lurking beneath, choppy waters testing everyone's mettle, and tempers flaring, it was a true nightmare for most involved. And in the midst of it all, there was Robert Shaw, a man who found solace in sipping on scotch during those long, arduous days on set. But here's the catch. It caused some serious tension between him and his co-star, Richard Dreyfuss. You'd think that being in a movie about a man-eating shark would be stressful enough, but Shaw took it to the next level by being perpetually drunk throughout most of the filming. Yep, you heard that right. Booze was his constant companion, except for one scene. Can you guess which one? It's the scene where his character actually gets drunk. Talk about irony. Richard Dreyfuss, bless his soul, had a love-hate relationship with Shaw's drinking habits. He admitted to liking Shaw when he was sober, but couldn't stand the man when he had a few too many. In fact, there was a legendary incident where Dreyfuss had had enough and boldly snatched a glass of booze from Shaw's hand, promptly dumping it overboard into the vast ocean. Now that's one way to make a statement. Number 5. Michael Landon. Michael Landon, the beloved star of shows like Bonanza and Little House on the Prairie. He was the epitome of the clean-cut, well-respected man on television, painting a picture of perfection for decades. But little did his fans know there was a dark cloud hovering over that pristine image, a battle with alcohol and Valium addiction that plagued his life. While his co-stars had an inkling that Landon enjoyed a drink or two, they had no idea of the extent of his drinking on set. You see, Landon had a little trick up his sleeve. He would sneakily spike his coffee with whiskey, and even his innocent-looking soft drinks would be laced with vodka. It was his way of keeping that buzz going throughout the day. And when filming wrapped up, it was off to the bar for more rounds of drinks. Melissa Gilbert, who played Landon's daughter on Little House, revealed a heartbreaking truth about her childhood. She had no clue that her on-screen father was sipping vodka from his coffee mug. But as she grew older, she realized that her choices in partners often gravitated towards men who smelled like alcohol. It's a testament to the lasting impact of Landon's hidden struggle. But alcohol wasn't the only vice that plagued Landon's life. He was a heavy smoker, puffing away on 4 packs of unfiltered cigarettes each day. It's no surprise that such a habit took a toll on his health. In fact, it's believed that his excessive smoking contributed to the onset of pancreatic cancer, the disease that ultimately claimed his life at the young age of 54. Number 4. Leonard Nimoy. Leonard Nimoy, the man who brought the iconic Mr. Spock to life on Star Trek. Behind that logical and composed exterior, however, Nimoy battled his own personal demons, a fierce struggle with alcohol addiction. It's a surprising revelation considering how well he portrayed the stoic and rational Vulcan on screen. But can I be completely honest with you? Nimoy himself admitted that he turned to alcohol as a way to cope with the demanding and exhausting days on the Star Trek set. The pressure of fame seemed to take its toll on him, and he sought solace in the bottle. His co-star, William Shatner, shed some light on the situation, describing how Nimoy drank to numb the disappointments that came with stardom. What started as one drink quickly spiraled out of control as Nimoy's addictive personality took over, making it difficult for him to stop. It wasn't until after the show ended that Nimoy sought help and entered rehab to combat his alcohol addiction. He recognized the destructive path he was on and took the necessary steps to turn his life around. Unfortunately, Nimoy's battle with addiction was not the only challenge he faced. His other habit of smoking ultimately led to his demise at the age of 83, when he succumbed to chronic lung disease. Nimoy's struggle with alcoholism remained largely hidden from the public eye. He was secretive about his addiction, keeping it separate from his professional life. While on set, a secretary was always ready to discreetly bring him drinks in a paper cup while he directed, ensuring that it didn't interfere with his work or impact his co-stars. On his days off, however, Nimoy's drinking would escalate to alarming levels. He would start his day with a beer as early as 11 a.m., and continue drinking steadily until he eventually passed out around 4 p.m. He would remain unconscious until the following day, when the cycle would begin anew. Number 3. Frank Sinatra. The legendary Frank Sinatra, a true icon in the world of music and film. Sinatra was known for his smooth voice, captivating performances, and, of course, his love for alcohol. Many considered him a functioning alcoholic, with his drink of choice being Jack Daniels. Sinatra had a particular way of enjoying his whiskey. He would pour himself 4 ice cubes, followed by 2 fingers of Jack and a splash of water, all in a traditional rocks glass. But here's the shocking part. Rumors circulated that he consumed an entire bottle of Jack Daniels on his own every day. His doctor must have been taken aback by that revelation. Living his life in the spotlight, Sinatra embodied the mantra, "The best is yet to come." However, alcohol could sometimes bring out a mean streak in him. When he was drunk, he had a tendency to pick fights with journalists or fellow actors. It was a cautionary reminder to be careful around him. One of his wives even admitted to locking herself in their room when she saw him drinking gin, as that's when his temperament turned sour. Sinatra's drinking habits led him and close friends, along with a few other Hollywood elites, to be playfully called the American Olympic Drinking Team. They were notorious for their love of alcohol and the wild nights that followed. It was an indulgence that Sinatra seemed to embrace fully. But what's the point? Interestingly, despite his reputation as a heavy drinker, Sinatra had the ability to cut back on alcohol when needed. Before embarking on an extensive tour or residency, he would reduce his liquor intake, focus on getting more sleep, and even engage in underwater swimming to improve his breathing and vocal control. It was a testament to his dedication to his craft and his desire to deliver exceptional performances. When it came to his preferred libations, Sinatra had a few go-to drinks. Jack Daniels remained his steadfast companion, but he also enjoyed martinis, specifically made with beefeater gin and a hint of vermouth, served on the rocks with a twist of lemon. The bartenders always made sure his glass was generously filled with ice. Another favorite concoction of Sinatra's was the Rusty Nail, a sophisticated and smoky cocktail combining scotch with drambuie, a liqueur made from scotch, honey, herbs, and spices. It was a drink that matched his sophisticated and stylish persona. Frank Sinatra's life was filled with music, fame, and a love for alcohol. He passed away in 1998 at the age of 82, leaving behind a legacy that still resonates with fans around the world. Number 2. Elizabeth Taylor. Elizabeth Taylor, the epitome of beauty and talent in the world of cinema, had a long and tumultuous battle with alcoholism and painkiller addiction. Despite her struggles, she made a significant impact by being the first celebrity to openly seek help at the renowned Betty Ford Center in 1983. Betty Ford, the wife of former U.S. President Gerald Ford, had faced her own addictions and established the Rehabilitation Center in 1978 to assist others on their path to recovery. Elizabeth's courageous decision to confront her addiction unknowingly inspired countless others who had been silently suffering. By shedding light on the benefits of residential treatment, Taylor played a crucial role in shifting the perception of addiction from one of shame and secrecy to one of hope and healing for millions of Americans. Free from the grips of her own addiction, she discovered a deeper purpose beyond acting, becoming a passionate advocate for AIDS awareness, prevention, and finding a cure. Elizabeth Taylor, renowned for her beauty, talent, and philanthropy, became a champion for a cause that touched her deeply. Her unwavering dedication to raising awareness about AIDS brought the issue to the forefront of public consciousness. Through her tireless efforts, she helped combat the stigma surrounding the disease and rallied support for research and treatments. I know how you feel. Elizabeth Taylor was a beloved icon, but behind the glamour, she faced personal battles that many can relate to. It's worth noting that Elizabeth's love for indulgence extended beyond alcohol. She had a diverse palate when it came to alcoholic beverages, but champagne remained a consistent favorite. In her glamorous years, she frequented prestigious establishments like Moxon's in Jamaica, the Dorchester, the Ritz, the Bel Air Hotel, the Beverly Hills Hotel, Chateau Marmont, and the Sands in Las Vegas. Later in life, she even enjoyed visiting gay bars, most notably the Abbey. Elizabeth's passion for cocktails was also evident as she co-created the chocolate martini with her friend Rock Hudson while filming Giant in Texas during the 1950s. And when in Mexico, tequila shots with beer chasers were her go-to. During her tempestuous relationship with Richard Burton, the couple had a preference for cognac in the morning, vodka and tonic in the afternoon, and scotch and vodka at night. Number 1. Andre the Giant. Andre the Giant, also known as the eighth wonder of the world, left an indelible mark on both the wrestling ring and the silver screen. While his enormous size and iconic wrestling career made him famous, it was his astonishing consumption of alcohol that truly made him legendary. Standing at an awe-inspiring 7 feet tall and weighing over 500 pounds, Andre Rene Roussimoff had an appetite for alcohol that surpassed imagination. He was known to consume a staggering 7,000 calories of alcohol every day, an astonishing feat that left friends and speculators dumbfounded. Can you imagine the sheer volume of alcohol consumed by a man of his stature? One memorable incident showcased Andre's superhuman drinking abilities. In a 6-hour session, he managed to down an astonishing 119 standard bottles of beer. Can you imagine that? 1 bottle every 3 minutes, non-stop for 6 hours straight. It's no wonder that after such an epic drinking binge, Andre passed out in the lobby of a hotel. His concerned buddies had to resort to covering him with a piano cover and let him sleep through the night. Andre's capacity for vodka was equally legendary. Wrestling teammate Ric Flair once shared a tale of how Andre allegedly drank the entire stock of vodka on a plane during a trip to Japan. Flair himself confessed to aiding Andre in his drunken rage, leaving not a single bottle untouched. As Flair recounted on ESPN, "On the plane, we drank every bottle of vodka." But Andre's alcohol conquests didn't stop at beer and vodka. Wine was also on his list. Hulk Hogan, who frequently traveled with Andre, shared his own story of witnessing the Giant's drinking prowess. During a trip to Japan, Hogan purchased a case of Pouilly Fuissé wine, a potent and strong French white wine. Just a few hours into their 8-hour bus journey, Andre managed to polish off all 12 bottles of wine in just 3 hours. Can you imagine that? Leaving his fellow travelers in awe of his unparalleled alcohol tolerance. Despite Andre's incredible drinking abilities, it's important to recognize that his indulgence in alcohol was part of a harmful lifestyle. He suffered from acromegaly, a condition that contributed to his decline. Alongside other factors, his excessive alcohol consumption likely played a role in his development of diabetes and ultimately led to his premature death from heart failure at the age of 46. Andre the Giant will forever be remembered for his larger-than-life presence, both in the wrestling ring and as Fezzik in the beloved film The Princess Bride. But his legendary drinking feats have added another layer to his extraordinary legacy, solidifying him as a true icon in the world of entertainment and beyond. If you enjoyed this mind-blowing journey, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more jaw-dropping stories.